Hello, trading has closed on February 27th, 2025. As always, we'll do our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then make our predictions. It's my trading plan for Friday, which is February 28th, 2025. Remember, I've been busy every day all week. I might have some time to trade tomorrow, but I really haven't watched the market very much over the weekend. I'll have more time to look at things. So just remember, my calls can change, my calls can be wrong, and trade at your own risk. We looked for the pattern today with the early high, which is this. We had a target of 59.7088, and that one printed. We had signals that were mixed. We said the commonest thing was a gap and prompt move outside the day's range. We had the gap, we moved outside the day's range, but I can't call that prompt. So that can't say that worked. We sure didn't close little change. So this was one of those days when neither one of those things happened. It was a typical pattern other than the timing of the drop outside of the range. But that's still not what I said. Well, it hardly seems possible that just a week ago I was looking for a top at 61.41 plus. We hit a top at 61.47 and change. Anyone who's subscribed to Norm Winsky's service knows that for a long time his number was 61.46. You just can't get too much better than that. And as far as calling a top, at this time I was looking for a trade into the 5800s. Well, we're now in the 5800s, so that was my target, but it's a target. It's not a stop and reverse. And we have to take a look and see where we stand. Well, during the day we got a buy signal that hasn't gone up high enough, gives us a target of 59.77.77. This drop is called fault, gives us a target of 59.49.41. So MEJT is saying this drop isn't going to last. Now, we have a number of targets that aren't printed. There are two times the system typically doesn't print targets in its preferred time frame. One is at major changes in trend, and the other is during periods of strong impulsive moves. The targets do print at some time, but when there's a strong impulsive move, it's less likely to print within its preferred time frame. So we have these numbers. If we don't gap down smartly, system calls for it to print, but I'm not going to be risking any money on this myself because this is a period of a strong impulsive move and the chance of a failure has increased. Well, here was the top called by DeMark's signals on the weekly chart. We haven't really dropped all that much in terms of time, and in percentage terms haven't dropped all that much in terms of price. And it's just a question of how far down are we going to go. Well, this is DeMark's TDST line. It's at 58.8726. There's support at and one bar under the line. So we're already in the support area. If we drop here, we'll print a whole bar. That's if we drop. It hasn't happened yet. We'll print the bar completely under the lower band in a support area. And here's the 200-day moving average, 57.1643. You know, I don't have anything that says we're not going to drop to 57.1643. Doesn't mean we have to, but even though we've gone as far as my minimum, and even though I think we're close to a low in terms of time, I don't have anything identifying this as a low in terms of price. Doesn't make me right. Friday's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. Typically it's a bullish day with a final hour high, and if it's weak we should see more weakness. There are higher MEJT targets, and unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for them to print. Now, one of the times in which these targets fail to print in their preferred time frames is when we're in a strong impulsive move, so you just can't risk money on those numbers printing. Now we've reached the 5800s. That was my minimum target for the drop. We're at a daily TDST line, so support exists here into 1 bar under the line. Now every Thursday, sentiment indicators come out from the American Association of Individual Investors, and these are at extreme levels of bearishness by the public. They're at levels typical of significant market lows. Now these aren't pinpoint indicators, doesn't mean we have to go up tomorrow. So in terms of price, they're not pinpoint. And I can make a good case for us trading near 5,700 cash is one possibility, and that doesn't mean we have to stop there. But in terms of time, we should be close to a low. Now Woodson has a change in trend date on March the 6th with some leeway in terms of a few trading days. That's next Thursday. So if we get a collapse near that date with high volume, it might be worth taking a long position. With sentiment indicators being at this extreme level, I don't see us dropping forever in terms of time. We're at a support from the TDST line. We're at support from the 200-day moving average. I think it's possible as soon as next week, if we get a huge volume sell-off, even a mini crash, that could be a low. But I'm not going to call it yet. And if we do get a big drop around that date with big volume, I'm looking for all these higher targets to print at some time, and the lower we go, the more I like a long. But I'm just not willing to say we're there yet in terms of price. I think we're close in terms of time. We may be close in terms of price, but we could drop another 150 points, and that wouldn't change a thing as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to sit through a drop like that. So it's the pattern with the early low. Tends to be a rally day, but if we keep dropping like this, catching the fallen knife is going to be pretty tough. But I think at some point, probably next week or shortly thereafter, we're going to be able to catch it. I just can't catch it yet. And that's today's call.